All right, how y'all doing? Happy Mother's Day!
Hey!
So, thoughts held in mind, produced after their kind. Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller, author of Catch-22, went to a party given by a multimillionaire, and Kurt turns to Joseph and says, "What does it feel like to be in this guy's home who makes more money in a day than you make, period, on sales of Catch-22? And Joseph Heller replied, "Well, I have one thing he doesn't have." And Vonnegut said, "What in the world do you mean, Joe?" He replied, "I have everything I need." And isn't that what unity tells us? God is the source. We need to keep that thought in our mind always. Let's say you need to pay some unexpected expenses, and you keep saying you can't because your income is fixed. Well, you cut off the flow of substance when you say that, because you're thinking your income comes from one source. But remember, God is the real source of our supply. And it can come from many places, in many ways, at any time that you cannot even imagine. So instead, think something like, I don't depend on persons for my supply. God is the source of my supply, and will constantly open the channels of substance for me. For this to work, of course, you have to have real faith, not just say at one time thinking some miracle is going to happen. It's a principle that we have to live by. So I have to keep a constant eye on what my thoughts are. Plants need water, sunshine, and a nurturing soil to grow and bloom. I need the same kind of thing for my thoughts. In order to bloom, I need to consider what kind of thoughts I'm putting in my mind. I am what I think I am. I need to always remember there is only one mind in the universe, and I'm an individual part of it, with a free will and not some kind of robot. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. God needs us so it can feel alive, but God doesn't want robots. We have to have free will to honestly want to be one with God on our own. We need to search for that light that is already within us. Paul said in Philippians 2:5, "Have this mind in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." Helen Keller said, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. With faith, I empower myself to overcome any fears I have about the conditions or possibilities of my material life. And I have to remember to express my spiritual qualities through all of life's circumstances, whether challenging or not." Think about this. If someone has done you wrong, and all you think about is that, what are you going to reap? If you keep thinking, I can't do this for whatever reason, what are you going to reap? Is there evidence of the tomato in the tomato seed? Not that we can see, but somehow there is an image, and that image makes the fruit. In the same way, the image in our mind makes the condition. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Our good thoughts minister to us in down or discouraging times. Charles Fillmore wrote, "Every thought of goodness makes a place, a form, and sets up a friendly habit in the mind that is permanent, and that in our time of need ministers to you. Your thoughts give back results of the same nature as themselves." And of course, this works both ways. If you keep discouraging, unforgiving, judging, or evil thoughts in your mind, you'll get those results also. Have you ever thought, why does this keep happening to me? Or why do I keep doing this? If you entertain the feeling of separation with God, you suffer in proportion to how much you accept this belief. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. In Luke 6:28, Jesus says, "The measure you give will be the measure you get back." So do you get anxieties or fume and fret, your mind racing a million miles a second? Well, I do. The character of our thoughts determine the pace we think and live. And Norman Vincent Peale relates this story. A patient who is very aggressive, go-getter business kind of guy, he goes to the doctor for help. And the doctor asks him, does he have to take his work home every night? Can no one help him? Can no one else do the job? And the patient replies, he's the only one that can do it. It has to be done. No one else can do it. So the doctor asks him, if I write out a prescription for you, are you really going to follow it? And the patient says, oh yeah, I sure will. So the doctor writes that the patient should take 2 hours off every day and go for a long walk. Also, he should take a half day off every week and go to a cemetery. And astonished, the patient goes, why a cemetery? Because I want you to wander and look at gravestones of men who are there permanently. I want you to meditate on the fact that many of them are there because they thought, even as you do, that the whole world rested on their shoulders. Meditate on the fact that when you get there, the world's still going to be the same. And as important as you think you are, others will be doing the same work you're doing. The patient got it, slowed his pace, learned to delegate authority, and achieve a proper sense of his own importance. Jack Kerouac in Dharma Bums, he writes, you know, to me, a mountain is a Buddha. Think of the patience, hundreds of years just sitting there, being perfectly silent. And like praying for all living creatures in that silence, and just waiting for us to stop all our fretting and fooling. So our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs have the power to create our reality. Like any spiritual principle, it works for everyone, even if you don't know it or believe it. Right where you are seeing me, or I'm seeing you, there is a one light or God, infinitely appearing as an individual. Everyone is an individual expression of God, an expression of the unlimited creativity of God. In all of recorded history, we've never had peace on earth. Why? In spite of all the religions, they have failed, because they have failed to emphasize the oneness of the individual and God. It is impossible to hate someone when we attain this realization. For instance, if we take the coming of the Messiah from the Bible, it really doesn't do much for us. But if you understand it to mean the coming of the Christ into your consciousness, then you awaken to the fact you are that spiritual person. You are one with God. Everyone is. The only answer to universal harmony, peace, and prosperity is the realization of this spiritual light in each of us. So let us strive to attain this through spiritual ideals, meditation, communion, whatever works for each of us. To attain this consciousness, live it, and show it in how we live our lives, so that anyone receptive to it will open up to the warmth of the light. It is not so much to try to do good things to advance spiritually, but that as we grow spiritually, our human conduct will naturally improve. So in proportion as spiritual growth consciousness expands in humans, then the conditions of the human existence will naturally improve. Let's keep our vision on the spiritual, and then human life will unfold progressively. The Buddha said, all that we are is a result of what we have thought. Thoughts held in mind, peace after their kind. So this really hasn't been a Mother's Day talk or anything, but I do want to say thanks to my mom for turning me on to Norman Vincent Peale. And that helped open my eyes to a new theology when I was ready to give up on religion. I'll keep the path open, the path in my mind. I'll see to it that there's no love left behind. I play Beethoven's sonatas and Chopin's preludes. I contain multitudes. Thank you.